It's just the dark getting settled.
By Kyle Vorbach. As you get older and your memories fade, you realize that you no longer recall the actual memory of what happened as much as the memory of telling the story of what happened. Memories become stories, and stories tend to change. If only I could ask my mother what was real and what wasn't that night. If only I could ask her if she herself knew. But in her old age, her memory has left her. So all I have now is this story and a pit in my stomach. I hope to God I never hear that sound again. Until the age of 10, my mother and I lived in my father's family home in upstate New York. I was told that it used to be an old inn along a well-trafficked road around the time of the Revolutionary War, which, in our area, wasn't unheard of. Whether it was true or not, I honestly don't know. By the time my father came to live there, you would not know if it was ever left in disrepair. By the time my mother won it from him in a divorce, it looked no different than your average home, having been aggressively redecorated and repainted in order to hide the holes he left in some of the walls. With each groan of the floorboards, I imagined the blood-soaked ghost of soldiers pacing around what was once the parlor, where they may have died writhing in agony, or their pallid widows rocking back and forth, waiting hopelessly by the frosted windows for their husbands to return from war. My mother's bedroom was straight down the upstairs hall from mine, and she never hesitated to comfort me and dissuade me of these many nightmares I'd foolishly inflict upon myself. "It's just the dark getting settled," she would tell me. This, my mother had once explained to me, was a phrase she and her brother came up with back when they were my age at the time to give cause for spooky bumps in the night. "It means it's nothing." I was a frightful child, my father saw to that. And yes, my house was always creaking and creaking and creaking, but this night, the night that I will now always wonder about, I swear to you that I heard a horrid sound in my home that left no work for my imagination. The way I remember it, I immediately snuck to my mother's room and woke her up, though I'm not sure she was actually asleep. "What's wrong?" she asked, as she had countless times. And I told her of the sound, beginning with the creaking downstairs. In what means I could articulate at that age, I told her of its deliberateness and of the intention I heard within it. That horrible sound! I was certain of its maliciousness, because after that initial wooden groan, there was a dreadful quiet, as if to avoid any further noise. The one aspect of that night that remains clear to me to this day, the sound I'll always be afraid I'll hear again, was not the creaking downstairs, but the silence that followed it. Like always, my mother picked me up and set me on her bed beside her, telling me with a smile that everything was all right. She whispered her usual refrain, "It's just the dark getting settled." "Why call it that?" I had once asked her. "If it means that it's nothing, why not just say that it's nothing?" "Because," she had said, "it seems like every time you think it's nothing, it's actually something." But that night, sitting on her bed, my worries were slow to dissipate. I'm assuming she saw the expression on my face, because I remember her opening the curtains and giving a cursory glance out the window, just to prove that we were okay. After a moment, she turned back to me. "We can even lock the bedroom door to be safe," she said. "Why?" I wondered. "Is there something wrong?" No, I promise," she comforted me. As she switched the latch, "It's nothing."